During my second year of law school, I ended up managing a local band, which I continued to manage both my second and third year of law school. And in fact, studied for the bar in an actual bar because we played, this band that I was managing was playing gigs like 5 nights a week. And what it led to was in summer of '94, so about a year after I graduated from law school, I literally just packed my car and drove from Oklahoma to California to see if I could get a job in the music business. So I ended up working at an organization called ASCAP, which is short for the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, and they're a performing rights organization. I started there in November of '94 and stayed until May of 2013. So I was there for 19 years. And what ASCAP does, which leads directly to the foundation of global music rights, is licenses the public performances of musical compositions to radio, to streaming services like Spotify and Apple and Pandora, to television, and then, in a whole world of general licensing, which would be bars, grills, restaurants, live performances, those kinds of things.
Business development team specifically doing digital. So whenever companies like Apple or Spotify or Amazon Music stream music, that triggers public performance, and they're required to have a license with us if they want to stream our works. And so I work with a variety of digital companies, everywhere from karaoke apps to digital fitness services to the traditional music services that we all use on a daily basis, and working and getting them licensed. While still in law school, I moved to New York because I made the decision that I wanted to work in entertainment while I was at OU. And so I finished my last year at Cardozo in New York City just because they have a really strong IP program. So I did mobile gaming for 6 years at a company called Gameloft, and I was responsible for licensing any third-party intellectual property we used in the video games. So like some of our more popular games were like Despicable Me, Minion Rush was a really big one. I always knew I wanted to work in music. Like a big reason why I took the mobile gaming job was because I also licensed all the music for the games. And so I was contacted by a recruiter who brought me over to interview at Global Music Rights.
If you want to go into an industry that you're really attracted to, but it's hard to break into, you have to sometimes be willing to take jobs that may not be as reflective of where you are in your education or even in your experience as you would like it to be. So my first job was, and I really only had this job for about a month, but the first job that I was hired to work at ASCAP was as an assistant to the head of the department that I eventually ended up running and taking over. And I was willing to do that job because it was like a foothold into a business that I wouldn't really be able to get into otherwise. The interesting thing about songwriters is you don't get paid for writing a song and delivering it to someone. It's not like being a screenwriter where, you write a script, you sell it to a production company, they make a movie out of it or don't make a movie out of it or make a TV show out of it or don't. The only time you get paid as a songwriter is if your song is actually successful. And you have to write a lot of songs for a song to be successful. So you get paid when that song is successful because it's played on the radio, and therefore a performing rights organization will pay you for those performances, or when it's streamed on a service because you have an underlying, what's called a mechanical reproduction right that you're paid for, or if it's used in a film or TV show because there's a synchronization right.
I know easier said than done, but I guess if you have an idea of what it is you want to do, stick to your guns about it. Because there were so many times when I was like, I'm just going to move back, and nothing against Oklahoma, but it's I knew I wanted to work in music. And there were so many times when I was like, oh, I'm just going to move back to Oklahoma. And for one reason or another, I made the decision to stay where I was.
Wherever you take a job, in whatever industry, there's got to be a certain level of stick-to-itiveness, just a little bit of it's not always going to it just is really important that you develop a keen sense of emotional intelligence while you're developing intelligence about your business and your function and the world at large.